neighbor, take somebody, but I'm telling you, you really need to have another person there with you, and at least preferably one guy. Cannot hurt. Okay, so this is a big issue. Who determines what's appropriate for the child? Who knows that? Right. This is so huge, because what I see time and time and time again when we do IEP meetings is I see situations where we have a circle of people at the table, and we have an LEA, who's the local education agency representative, who's at the head of the table that's running the whole meeting, right? They're the bigwig. And then we have the family and the kids, and then we have all of the different representatives that are sitting around the table. And what we find is that LEA typically runs the meeting. Have you noticed that? And most of the talking comes from that head of the table. And one of the things that happens that I'm not real happy with at all is a lot of decisions are made in what I call pre-meeting meetings. That's not good. And we'll talk about what to do about that. When we talk about who makes these decisions, team decisions are made by the team. That means the whole team. So if we have an LEA and a teacher showing up saying, here's what we're going to do, and we're not getting input from the rest of that team, that's not to your child's benefit. One of the things that we're going to do, the PowerPoint presentation that we have up here was not in a format that they were able to put on the discs. So Ed is going to be putting it on the Autism One site for you to be able to access if you need it. Two of the other things that are going to go with that are template letters that I wrote. And the template letters are very, very helpful, because what they do is outline what your requests should look like and how you handle them. And typically you can use that as a template and put your circumstances in it, and they've been very, very successful. So you might want to take a look at those. Team decision means the entire team. It does not mean the LEA dictating anything. And let me tell you this, when I say a roundabout discussion that we have up on the PowerPoint, let me tell you what that looks like. If this is our group of people right here, and this is our table, and this is the LEA, and the LEA is telling me as the parent that, well, you know, we've decided that we're not going to provide ABA for little Johnny because the team just doesn't really feel that that's necessary. And you notice the team is all looking at the table, right? No eye contact going on there. And I'm saying, okay, well, how was that decision arrived at? Who made the decision? What data was used? You got to start asking questions. And one of the things that I see parents not doing is asking questions. They freeze. People say blah, 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 and you go, And I was very, very guilty of that. But here's what you have to do. You got to prepare ahead of time. You can't wing these things. That means you need to write letters ahead of time stating what it is that you expect. Here's what we have now. We're getting X number of hours in special ed. That includes this many hours a week of speech therapy and a pull-out one-on-one environment, this much OT, blah, 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 whatever you're getting. Here's what we have some concerns about. These are the things that bother us just a little bit, or that we feel are not being appropriately addressed. And then at the bottom, here's what we'd like to see change. These are the requests that we're making. So you format it that way. Do what? We're probably going to do them after, because we got a lot to cover. And chances are we probably will cover your question. Let's do this. Let's hang tight and let's wait until we get to the end. And if we don't cover it, I'll be more than happy to cover anything that we haven't covered already. But I'll tell you what, we have so much to cover in such a short period of time that there's no way we're going to get through this if we start stopping every couple of minutes. I'm sorry. We just have a lot to do. So anyway, the letters are really helpful. The other thing that the letters do for you is they give you a checklist. Because as parents, don't we have a tendency to get emotionally engaged in this and get a little bit frustrated and lose sight of what it is we should be saying and when? And you know, when our emotions and anxiety get involved, we have a tendency to forget about what we need to be talking about. And how many times do you walk out of those meetings and go, I wish I would have said? If you have a letter that's already written, and by the way, those letters get sent a week ahead of time. A week ahead of time to the school. And I have people tell me all the time, oh, we don't want to do that. We want to catch them by surprise. No, you don't. That's not a good strategy. You don't want to catch them by surprise, because when you catch people by surprise and you catch them off guard, they're not prepared to handle those things.